So in this video, I'm going to talk about why starting with the club 6 to 8 inches behind the golf ball is something that will completely transform how you're hitting your driver. And by just doing something like so, swinging back, and how to swing those arms through, is going to help you gain distance and probably really surprise and sort of question some of the things that you've been trying to do recently with your driver. So as with all my videos, they're prompted by students or they're prompted by questions that I tend to see across the social media accounts. And a lot of people tend to struggle with driver. I think one of the problems is that we've lost sight of where your actual club head speed and distance comes from with driver. Now, what I tend to see with a lot of students is either the consciousness of not using the arms, literally, don't use your arms in the golf swing, or unnecessary body movement. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the common problems that I tend to see, and then also just going to talk about a very simple exercise that you can do to make sure you're maximizing your potential with driver. So first of all, the unnecessary movement, I would say, is just moving the head around. If you start allowing your head to move in the backswing position, this basically inhibits your chances of lifting your arms up. And you can just do this as a very simple exercise at home. If you sort of just practice, move your head over towards your trail leg, as I'm demonstrating here, and then try and lift your arms up, you'll find the way that you can't. If you then keep your head still and lift your arms up as you turn your body, you'll find the way that you're able to create miles more leverage than you ever knew you were capable of. And that's kind of the first little part of this exercise. It's like, look, yes, rotational motion is going to play a big part in the golf swing, but also don't forget that the arms are going to play a huge role in the golf swing as well. So you want to just adopt a very narrow stance and then just sort of concentrate on lifting your arms up as you turn your body. And you could do it like so if you want to. Lift your arms up in front of you as if you were sort of going to chop a piece of wood, and then sort of turn. Then lift them a little. And you'll start to notice actually how easy the movement is in terms of lifting those arms up in the backswing while still maintaining width. The reason why you'll find this type of motion so difficult is because you're sort of moving over here, then try and lift them up, and you're just going to get yourself so out of sequence and so out of position. And if you're moving poorly in the backswing, accompanied by the idea of don't use your arms in the downswing, then you're massively going to start to struggle. So simply what needs to happen in the downswing, I've talked about this a lot, is just shaping your hand path. So if you imagine you just watch my right arm here, it's kind of like throwing a ball or skimming a stone. You can see the way that my hand is progressing its way over the ball or over towards my target like so. If the more I can move my hand in this type of direction, the faster I'm going to be able to skim that stone or throw that ball. And this would be shaping a nice hand path. Now, if I started to kind of move my arm where it went more this way, so it really widened, then obviously, and I sort of did it like so, then I'm going to be throwing that object much slower. So it's the same concept in the golf swing. What theoretically needs to happen is that my upper arm needs to move to the side of my body as I allow the arm to straighten. And that's in synchronization such an important thing, because that's going to help us whip the club through. The ability to straighten my arm is going to give me that club head speed. If I keep this arm bent too long, like so, or if I sort of throw it immediately off in the wrong sort of direction, that is going to play havoc. So you do want to think about your hands moving progressively towards the target, as I'm demonstrating here, but you want to make sure it feels like you're sort of allowing your arms to straighten, which is why in the golf swing we often get these sort of talks about throwing the club. Now, I would practice this by narrow feet, do the backswing that we've spoken about, lift it up, turn as well, but you want to sort of focus your attention about a foot outside, so a foot to the left of where your target would be, so where the ball would be. And that's the position where you want to try and feel like you're straightening your arms to. So you want to lift it up, straighten your arms to there, lift it up, straighten your arms through. And then obviously, the more you do that, the more natural you're going to find that sort of release. And that's why I would strongly suggest the next time you go down to the driving range, tee the golf ball up, keep your stance nice and narrow, and just start with the golf ball positioned towards your lead side as I'm demonstrating here, because it will just be a gentle reminder that you can lift your arms up and it will stop you wanting to move excessively over this direction, and then you can start focusing on straightening your arms to whip it through, and it should also coincide with a really good contact and that little bit more distance for you with the driver. It's a must skill. Make sure you're using your arms, make sure you're lifting them up and down in the golf swings. That's where you're going to get that speed from. But if you start to worry a little bit about what you're trying to do and you're worried about casting it, if you start thinking of straightening your arm, that's fine and understandable, but just concentrate on straightening this part of the swing And that will generally mean that you're going to shape a good hand path and maximize your distance. See you soon.